That's my. You know what? I've looked at dozens of. It seems like every picture that's taken of me from
These are perfect.
the
Thank you,
theater
Sarah.
or anything that I do theatrical. It seems like every single picture is my character constipated or something.
Constipated,
because it's
looking
always
so
it's
shocked.
always a look of like, what, huh? And I'm like, that's the picture you got,
That's
and I'm
a
like,
good look.
that's
I
my
love-
character, just constipation.
I love all the pictures of you playing Harvey Legitimacy from that one where
Oh
you
my
had the green
gosh, I
jacket.
love Harvey
I
Legitimacy.
love Harvey Legitimacy so much, and I really want to bring him back sometime on some other show.
I would love to do him again. He's fun.
Yeah, when my
He was
mom
the
was
best.
trying to, my mom, it takes a while for her to learn my friends, like names and faces, and put them together and then retain them. So like when she was trying to learn who you were when I was talking about you, I was like, the guy with the green jacket from that show, that live sketch show, you know, who was hilarious. That was like, that character was the thing that I was trying to get her to remember who you are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that's what she remembers. It could be worse. I have a friend
what else
who's.
would she remember?
I don't know.
I must have missed something.
I don't know. No, I have. It's like I have a friend, and her mom always refers to me as the gay one.
Oh
No.
But that's how she always remembers. That's just how she is when she
boy.
remembers stuff, and she's like,
Yikes.
"He's the gay friend, right?" And then
Does
she's
she
always
only
like,
have one?
and then
She
she's
needs to get
funny.
more
Then she's
gay
always
friends,
funny
I think
because then
is
she's
the
always like,
problem.
he's always hugging Larry, her husband, who's like my best friend. So she's
Oh
always
my
funny. And
God.
it's like she's like,
like,
mom,
suspicious
therapist.
about it.
Oh my God.
She's very funny. It's hilarious. But
Oh, okay.
she's like, he's always hugging Larry, and I'm like, whatever. Like they're funny. They're just a funny family. So,
And of course, I've told them about Jaws, the musical.
so that's the one. I love that one.
I
you
feel
know.
like
that one.
if we do a live show, which we are,
Yeah.
spoilers, later this year, I feel like we would have to do Children of the Corn the musical.
Yes, we would have to.
Because it's not in the web show now.
I know. Well,
So
that was
now
why I
we're
was
gonna
like,
have
I
to.
wasn't sure where to do that, but I would love to.
That
it
would be
works well on
amazing.
stage.
Yes.
It's a fun one.
We'll get somebody
Yeah.
to make some corn stalks.
Oh my God.
I love that, making it almost like an elementary school.
Yes, an elementary school production of Children of the
my
Corn.
Where else are you gonna get the children?
Yes.
There was another musical one that came up, and now I can't think of what it is.
There was
now, so
another
I'll have to
musical
think
you were
of
going to do? Like, as
There
an
was.
idea?
There's still.
So there's another. You've got another
Halloween.
musical in you.
Halloween is still another
Halloween
one.
the
Halloween
musical
the
would be
musical.
so great. Wait, you know they made an actual musical of Carrie, right?
Yes.
There's a real.
I heard.
Is it
There's a
scary
Carrie-
or is it funny?
I think it's supposed to be campy.
Campy. Okay.
I heard in college, one of our professors had like a bootleg tape, like cassette tape that someone
Wow.
had gone into the theater because it only ran for like.
Carrie the musical.
For
Okay.
like 100 and something performances.
Yeah,
or
it was.
something.
It turned.
And you can listen to it,
Not
and I think the
surprising.
song was them throwing tampons.
Oh my
tampons.
God.
It was the
Knock
actual
it
song,
up,
and they
knock
came in.
it up.
Which is what we use as our that's our soundbite for our plugs section.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
ever noticed that?
I haven't, but I'm going to now.
So that was one of the first when we started to talk about this podcast 4 years ago. Welcome to the Feminine Mistake podcast, by the way,
Feminine mistake.
listeners. Welcome to the Feminine Mistake podcast, a podcast where we watch your favorite films and TV shows, binge them even, and then we talk about how women are portrayed in them.
For women, by women and men.
And anyone.
And anyone.
And anyone, women, men, anyone, really.
Yes.
Yes, when we began talking about this podcast 4 years ago, one of the first things that I have thought of that amused myself was that when we go to the section where we talk about because I knew we were going to do a plugs, because all podcasts do that. You know, when you have entertainers on, let's plug what you're working on. And I was like, ooh, this is a feminist humor podcast. We've got to grab the soundbite from the film Carrie where they're all screaming, plug it up at her. The light just went off again.
The light keeps going
I feel
off
like
and
this
on, and
room
we
is
can't.
haunted.
We can't control it, you guys.
Today's show, we will be talking about the chilling adventures of Sabrina.
Just chilling adventures of Sabrina, Nicole.
Not
It drives me crazy, but it's
You
not
don't like-
the.
you
it's
don't
not
like it when I say the?
chilling adventures. It's just chilling adventures.
It's like when I
I'm
call
not
it
saying,
the Kroger.
I'm not saying I care, but I'm just saying.
It seems like you do, though.
No, I don't care when you say it. I care that they didn't put the.
Oh, so it's like an affront to you that they didn't put the
They
chilling.
didn't put the.
Are you sure there's no the there?
I'm positive.
Okay, well, we'll be
'Cause
talking about.
I'm positive because it Drives me
doesn't
crazy.
make you
It's the Mandela effect. That's what it is. You're
Oh.
remembering and then it's really not there.
Oh,
but is
geez.
it? Because now I'm picturing it.
I thought you were
and
talking
I-
about Nelson
and I wanna think-
Nelson
Nelson
Mandela
Mandela.
first. Not
That's where it
Nathan
comes
Mandela.
from. I
That's
keep
his
reading
brother,
about it because people think
Nathan
that
Mandela.
Nelson Mandela died in prison, but he really didn't. But people remember that.
Is that why it's called
That's
that?
why it's called the Mandela
Shit.
effect. And it's always things that you
Okay.
remember, and then they're different, and that's where this whole parallel universe thing comes in, and supernatural. And,
Wow,
and I want to
okay.
plug this tea right
Oh,
now
this tea,
because
this tea
I have to
is,
say, Sarah, it smells chocolatey. I smell the nubs. The nubs.
I think they're called nibs.
Nibs.
Nubs.
Nibs,
nubs.
nubs, whatever.
So I
They're
got
delicious.
this tea. Speaking of, well, this isn't the Georgia Made podcast. I'm getting my podcast mixed up. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's because we're talking about food and tea.
Yeah,
Sorry.
which we did a lot on the Georgia Made podcast, which was our podcast. Those of you guys who've been listening to us for a while, we did have a podcast last year called the Georgia Made podcast, if you want to check it out. But we did talk a lot about tea and food, like constantly.
Constantly.
This tea came from Krug Street Market. There's a chocolate tier shop, and they have chocolate tea. So it's like made from cacao nibs, and that's what this is. Ironically, it's called Bewitching Herbs is the name, which I did not do on purpose.
You did.
I
Don't
didn't.
lie.
I didn't.
Wow.
Anyway, it's cacao and
Subconscious.
peppermint and some other things. You like it?
I like it.
I like it, too.
It's delicious. It's almost like a little bit of hot chocolate. I'm surprised it's not your Tupelo tea. Is that what it is?
I
the other
do.
one that
I
you
do
like?
get a lot of Tupelo tea, but I brought this because I just got it because we were at Krog Street recently, getting something.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Catching a
I
bite
like
to
it.
eat before a show.
Catching.
Catching.
Okay.
So I'm one of your hosts, Nicole,
I'm your other host, Sarah.
and our special guest today is
Is-
actor, writer, director,
Producer.
What don't you do?
Cute. Bird dad.
Brandon Mitchell.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome
thank you
to the
so
show.
much. I appreciate it. Well, that's it. Now I'm done. I
That's
think I'm
it.
done.
That's
Goodbye.
it. You've had
Goodbye.
some tea.
I've had my tea. We're good, right? Isn't that what this is about? I rated the tea.
the
and
chilling tea.
She's gonna reach across and just.
By the way, Brandon is one of our biggest fans.
I love you guys.
I love
Gals,
you too.
gals.
I love
gals.
Brandon. Oh my
I-
god. I mean, I
I'm
love you.
so
Sorry,
scared.
I'm like talking. I'm just like, I love Brandon.
And a returning guest on the show.
Yes.
Those of you
Yes.
guys who've been listening to the show for a while, Brandon was on our Suspiria episode in season 2. That was season 2, right? Because
Yes.
that was when we were still doing we did older films, and then there was one year where we only did films that had recently came out in season 3, and so that must have been season
And that was
2.
the Halloween one.
That was our
Yes.
that was our Halloween episode.
Yes.
Wait, was that
fun.
season 2 or season 3?
I.
It might have been season 3 because
But-
season 2
But if
was
it had,
Poltergeist with Melissa.
Oh.
So it was season 3. You were on season 3.
So it was
Suspiria.
one of the.
I think we were just like,
last
fuck it.
Episodes of season 3 since it was Halloween.
Well, yes, it was it was October, yeah, and we did Suspiria, which was also about witches,
about witches.
ironically. Yeah.
And it's so funny because I also I hit the mic. I binge watched. We watched American Horror Story Apocalypse, which I don't know. The spoiler.
This
Another
seems
spoiler for
I'd love
everyone's
to hear about
watched
that.
it.
Yeah, please, I won't because
I've seen-
it seemed a little upsetting.
I've seen. I think I've seen all of them except for Murder House, the very first
Are
one.
you kidding? That's the best one.
I know.
That's my
and
favorite.
I think because we saw Cult, and I think Apocalypse was right after Cult. But
Okay, it's Cult that I haven't seen because I was like, I can't put myself through that again.
Yeah.
Because it's about the election, and I just was like, I can't. I
Yeah.
don't want to. I had enough. I'm done. Like that was my own personal nightmare.
That's one of those ones where it was like reality is too close to what's on the screen. But so we sat and we're like, oh, Apocalypse is on. In like 3 days, we binge watched that. And what I love is if you've seen Coven,
Yes.
the Apocalypse goes back to Murder House, brings in Coven.
Yeah.
And not, if you haven't seen it, but it brings in the whole witches into and again, it's like hell and very much like what we were talking about. And I was like, more witches.
So
I was like, there must be something around
Who
this
wore
that
it
I
better,
haven't.
Apocalypse or Sabrina? I mean, we'll get into the show in just a minute, but
It's a tough one because they're
Yeah.
both different, but I love Sabrina
yeah.
and the not campiness because it's not campy, but that
Sabrina,
the story of
I
it
would
is
say
more
Sabrina
comic.
is
But
very
Apocalypse
campy.
is very much. It's like a dark, sort of a, I don't want to say a darker version, but
well,
with
at one
what's
point
more
they eat
realistic.
someone, right? Because I did watch a few YouTube videos about it. Sometimes I'll watch some things about things that I haven't seen.
Yeah, I think so, but it's like, yeah, it's just one
They
of those
eat
ones
someone,
I
right?
would.
Like spoilers for American Horror Story Apocalypse.
Oh, they do, yes.
Stew's in the stew, right?
Yes. Something like
I've
that.
never seen
no,
the
no,
show.
yeah,
But
no,
they
you're
eat somebody
no,
on Sabrina too. Honestly, they do eat somebody on Sabrina.
You're not certain in Apocalypse whether or not, but you're pretty sure that they are. But the way they weave the story together,
Okay.
because they do it sort of in the present, and then they go back to the past, and then come in to where they are. It's like it starts.
I do love
and then-
American Horror Story.
So they did really well, and they managed to sum up a couple of stories, which I really like. Like I didn't see Murder House, but they were able to, I think, finalize a story there. So I almost was wondering if this was going to be the last episode.
Well, I'm very behind on American Horror Story, but I really like to see the last season because that was like the one about 80s slasher flicks, and that was like
That's the one I didn't see.
my era.
How many seasons are there?
There have been 9, and they're about to do the 10th.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So there is one more after.
Well, I don't know.
Apocalypse
They
then,
haven't really
maybe?
said if it was the last one, but there's definitely a 10th on the horizon.
But they started to go back and they
Murder
incorporated.
House is great.
I'm afraid of that one because you said that the Haunting of Hill House reminded you of it, and the Haunting of Hill House terrifies me.
Oh, yeah. The Haunting of Hill House is like, well, I think Murder House is like the perverse version of what they did in The Haunting of Hill
Which
House.
is terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Murder House is also scary, but also more twisted. Mm-hmm. Like everything on American Horror Story is
I've never
twisted.
seen Hill House.
The Haunting of Hill House, the
Yeah,
show.
that was one that I have not seen.
Oh my god!
Oh my
It
God.
I
was
think we just need to sit
good.
and
how
watch
could,
it.
well,
but
then you must not have
Good.
listened to those episodes because we definitely
I did,
talked in
and it
depth
was kind of
about
hard to without
To
having
follow,
seen
yeah.
it, and I just needed to watch it. And there were so many things.
Watch it.
It's so
beautiful.
good.
It's beautiful.
I know some
Heartbreaking.
people on it too that I worked
Yeah.
with, so it's like I would
Yeah.
love to. I need to just sit and binge it.
Definitely. I think I've seen it 3 times. I watched it once alone. I watched it once with my family, and I watched it with you.
Yeah, and I don't like to feel things, and Sarah made me watch it, even though it made me feel devastated, and I'm so glad that she did because it's such a good fucking show.
Yeah.
I've started doing this thing now that if I want to watch something, but I know it's going to give me the feels because I don't like to have too many hard feelings, I'll just watch clips of it on YouTube until I get the joy. I did that with Marriage Story.
Yep.
I was like, I can't watch Marriage Story. It seems like a horror movie for married people. Like,
It
I
is.
don't want to. Also, like, I've seen lots of Noah Baumbach's other films, and they seem to always be about divorce or the breakdown of a relationship. And so, like, when I saw the Squid in the Whale, or is it just Squid in the Whale, Sarah?
No idea.
I felt like I was watching my parents get divorced again, and it was very triggering for me.
Oh.
So I was like, I think I'm going to skip Marriage Story, even though I love Adam Driver. Gonna skip it. But I did watch a lot of clips of it on YouTube, so I feel like I've seen the movie
Adam Driver is
without
a
experiencing the
treasure.
emotions.
Got it. Ooh.
Have you seen
I have
Marriage
not
Story?
seen Marriage Story.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I made myself watch it recently because I was like, well, you know, my love life may not be going that great right now, but at least I'm not getting divorced.
I mean, right?
Sarah.
It's true.
Exactly.
Good. That is
Well,
a fact.
yeah.
That's
okay.
a fact.
That makes.
And at least I'm not married to Adam Driver. I mean, I would love to be married to Adam Driver. Why am I even saying that?
I mean, he's hot in a brooding way.
Yeah, in a weird way.
Yeah.
What do you? How do you feel about Adam
Hot and
Driver,
brooding.
Brandon?
Hot and brooding.
Hot
I'll
and
go with
brooding,
that.
Yes.
I find him, as many nerds do, I promise I'm not going to talk about Star Wars again. I promise. But I find him quite enticing when I'm watching Star
Yes.
Wars. But also, Kylo Ren is a war criminal. So
Yes.
I feel like, spoilers for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, I feel like it ended the only way that it could.
Yes. Agreed.
You know, he is a fucking war criminal, after all.
Do you think that Adam Driver is as brooding as all of his characters, or do you think that he, like, as a person, is like upbeat and like?
Do I think he's a
Happy.
wacky guy?
Yeah.
Probably not. I feel like most people, when they're, look, your character is not you, but I do think it draws upon your essence.
Yeah.
And so is his essence kind of intense?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm
Yeah.
going to venture a guess that probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not as brooding. Probably not
Like
like,
it's, like, turned up a
happy,
little bit.
you know. But
His SNL monologue was very funny.
But
he was very silly.
But it's also one of those funny things, like people you find as actors that are really dark, all of a sudden when you that's how they're able to tap into being
like
that dark
in there
is
and
because
they
are
unleash it.
but then you meet them and you're like, you're this funny guy, or you're just this crazy upbeat person. Where does that come from? You know, it's like Sarah's writing.
Oh, my writing
She's
is
so
like
happy, and then you read the stuff and you're like, this is
and
beautiful.
crazy.
I love
You're
it.
like, this is beautiful and great, but it's like, I didn't expect that from you, and I love it.
But it has heart, even though you're writing.
Oh,
like it's
my
not
writing.
it's weird and bizarre, but generous. It feels, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like, it doesn't assault me with its weirdness. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like when because like some things are dark and weird and you're like, ooh, I feel icky after I saw that. But when I read something that you've written that's kind of off the deep end, I still feel good after I've read it. Like it doesn't make me feel like creeped out and icky.
It's a beautiful,
you know
it's like a beautiful story. You know, when you see something dark, but you're like, I love that. That story touched me, even though it was, you know, dark and weird, but it was like a beautiful dark and weird, you know.
Yes,
thanks.
absolutely.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
Wow.
And then you also have funny, happy things as well. You know, she's not like
it's true.
a brooding
No.
person,
And this is comedy we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like your
That's the other
comedy
thing.
is kind of weird and bizarre. Like a lot of I think some of the best things you've done are very bizarre in a way that and very detailed in a way that only you can do them.
Oh, thanks, guys.
But I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
I love those kind of stories too.
Yeah.
That's probably why I love the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
You know what? I think that's a great segue. Shall we talk about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? Okay. So, sheesh. I don't know how we're going to get through 4 episodes in one episode.
You just said sheesh.
I mean, literally, like you got us all these notes that I have here. I don't know how I'm going to get through all of them. Before we get into talking about the show, let's talk a little bit of the show Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is our topic.
I'm not going to get mad at you guys. I'm so sorry.
I'm trying so hard.
I lashed out.
The got stuck in my throat, but I'm just gonna keep it there. I want to go around the table and talk about like what is your experience with the show before the podcast? Like, obviously we've all seen the other, but how much do you love the show? Are you a big fan? When did you start watching it? Let's start with our guest.
Perfect.
Brandy.
Well, I first watched Sabrina when I was watching, when it was on ABC.
The Sabrina the Teenage Witch
with Melissa Joan Hart,
yes.
whom I love ever since Clarissa Explains It All.
Yes,
huge crush on her.
Yeah,
and what I love, I ended up binge watching that one year through Netflix or whatever.
a very animatronic cat.
Wait,
yes,
is it available to watch? I tried to.
I think so.
Is it on Hulu or something?
I tried to find it and I couldn't.
I know it was either Hulu or Netflix. I know
Okay.
I was able to find it.
They might have ripped it
They
off.
could have taken it off. So when this first came on and we watched the very first season of Sabrina, what I loved was how it was the same. Obviously, you have the same characters, much darker version.
Yes.
But it still kept those characters.
Is Ambrose in the
Ambrose is not in it. I think if you were to look at it in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch, she ends up having the quizmaster who helps her learn all about magic.
Oh, okay.
And I almost kind of feel like maybe Ambrose a little bit would be that character.
Well, he's always stepping in with a book.
But
with
he would have
something
also
in it.
been like Salem,
Yeah.
just not as a cat.
Oh, because
So
he's
I think
got
that's
the sarcasm.
I think that's what
Yeah.
they did
Yes,
was
I
put him
get
in
it.
there. But then
Okay.
Hilda and
Zelda.
Zelda, in Sabrina, one is Zelda's still she becomes the professor. She's very smart. She's
Haughty. Is she?
I guess, in a way.
I don't know.
I can't remember the
I
actress.
could talk
but then,
about Zelda Spellman for days.
But then Hilda is kind of her flighty sister. But of
Yes.
course, it's done in a very comedic way.
Yeah.
Even when it's in the darker version, it's still like Zelda's very much the strong, smart woman, and then Hilda's still
A little naive, maybe.
but a
Yeah.
little darker. And I love that that's what they did with the characters. They still brought them in, and I'm like, oh, they made them a little darker, but kept with those. I just love the
same
parallels of
archetypes,
it.
yeah.
So I've seen all 3 seasons.
Wow. So you're like a real Sabrina fan. I haven't seen the older show.
Oh, I mean,
No.
I don't know why.
How many episodes did the old show
mean, it was
have?
on the show
not
air for a
episodes. How
while.
many seasons?
2?
That's it.
2 or 3, 4 or 5.
Really?
No, there were more because she went to college. So it's like there
God.
was like
You know it gets bad
five
when,
or six.
on the sitcom when I go to college.
Yeah, and even the college one wasn't bad. It wasn't one of the jump the shark things.
It wasn't like Saved by the Bell goes to college.
Oh no,
my God.
They were done after that. No, I felt like Sabrina really stayed true through. I didn't really find any times where you were like, all right, I'm done with watching this. It was like they kept the story, they kept it fresh.
Nice.
And then
I want to watch it. I think what happened basically was they realized that the demand was going up to watch the old show when this show came out. So they probably removed it from streaming. So you'd have to buy it.
So you'd have to buy it. I would think they would want to put it on so people would watch it more. I don't know. I feel like it's on Hulu or something.
It might be ABC. Yeah. Was it ABC?
So you're a big time
TGI
fan.
Friday, yeah.
So when did you start watching Sabrina, like right when it came out, or?
I think I watched it after.
Okay.
Like it had been out for some seasons, and kind of watching the reruns of it, and then
Yeah.
going back and rewatching them.
No, I mean the new show.
Oh, the new show?
Yeah. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah, when it first started.
Yeah.
We were like,
You were
God,
like
Sabrina's
on the couch
out. I was
the
like,
day it
we
came
were
out.
on. I was watching it. I
Nice.
was like, I love this story. I was like, I want to. It's exactly what I want to watch. That's what I love. You know, this darkness, this campiness, and what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to see where they go with this. And of course, that first season or the first episode too, you're like, oh, they are going dark with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is where they're going. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, like full on, like
Pray,
goat
hail,
heads or
Satan,
whatever. Like
and
yeah,
all of
like
that,
giant
like,
goat heads.
You know, but I love how they take that and flip it over instead of
Yes.
It's hail Satan and it's just kind of like, okay, let's go with this. And I never saw Riverdale, though. I never watched Riverdale.
Either.
So
I used to read the Archie comics when I was a kid, like Archie and Jughead and Betty and Veronica and all that stuff, and Casper. I never read Sabrina.
I wanted to go back and see if I
That's
could
not
find
true.
some of those
I did
episodes.
when it was like the
Sabrina.
old ones. I think there was at some point a reboot that's darker, kind of like the show.
When did the comic book come out?
I feel like it was in like the 60s.
60s, 70s?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they used to have little kids, like little dime store comic books at the drugstore that I used to buy.
So in the 60s, they had a comic book about witches?
Yeah, but it wasn't dark like this. It was very silly.
Okay.
You know, it was like Casper the Friendly Ghost,
Or
Sabrina,
like
that kind of stuff.
Bewitched, I guess.
Yeah, it
the
was a
show
little
back
bit
then?
more like that, yeah. Yeah, where she was like a kid witch. It wasn't like
Yeah.
this, where it's like teenage dark stuff.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
how I remember it anyway. It was a long time ago.
I don't know. Kieran Shipka? I don't know. Yeah. She still feels like a child to me. Like, I
From Mad
still
Men.
see her as like that little 7-year-old girl on Mad Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she looks exactly the same. Like, her face still looks like a baby face.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
they're all babies, kind of. Except for Ross Lynch. Okay.
By the
We'll
way,
talk about him.
on Google, when I search for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina
Google?
characters,
Yeah.
it popped up all like the actors' pictures with the character names and stuff.
Yeah.
The person they had for Ross Lynch was the guy who played Harvey on Sabrina the
on
Teenage
the original
Witch.
Harvey, which not my flavor of Harvey.
No.
Not my favorite flavor of Harvey.
But I was like, that's not Ross Lynch. What are they doing?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get on that Google. All right. Okay. So Brandon, big time fan, super fan even. Sarah, how about you?
I honestly forget. I think it was you.
Did I make you watch it?
I think you did.
I might have. I might have
I
been
don't
like,
think-
Sarah, you have to watch this.
I don't think you made me, but I think
But I encouraged you to watch it.
Suggested it, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I did, and I loved it. So I think I binged the first season, and then when season 2 came out, I binged that. And yeah.
So I fucking love witchy shit. All the day long. I will watch witchy shit. So I like knew the show was coming out, but I was like, it looks like it's for. I knew about the other Sabrina show, and I was like, it seems like it's for like kids or some shit. So I was like, meh. Like I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks cool, but I don't know. It wasn't like super on my radar. And then not this Christmas, but the last Christmas. So it had come out in October, I think, of 2018, maybe.
Yeah.
And by Christmas we were like stuck in rural Virginia with nothing to do, and we put on Netflix and the kids had gone to bed, and I was like, oh well, you want to watch an episode of Sabrina? And so we watched the first episode, and I was like, the show is fucking great. And so then we like binged the whole thing, and then we were like, and then I was like, Sarah, you have to watch this. And then we were anxiously awaiting season 2. I think the Christmas episode had come out at that point, so we had watched the Christmas. We were waiting for the second series to come out, which I think came out in the springtime. And then so I love this show. I'm just gonna come out and say I'm a big shipper of Harvey and Sabrina. I'm shipping them forever, and so I'm just gonna put that right out there up front. Big shipper, Harvey and Sabrina. I'm
a big Sarah Caliban.
Oh, you're shipping you and Caliban.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. All right. Now that we have, now we know where everybody stands with Sabrina, let's get into talking about the show.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man.
You look stupid and rich. Stupid and rich.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, not the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Episodes 1 through 4. Sarah and I have written down, we're supposed to only write down 5 things. I have 13 things. So we're not going to get to all of these. But let's get into it. Why don't you go first, Sarah? If you've got something you want to talk about from episode, anything really, or just covering episodes 1 through 4.
Burning. Okay.
So, but of course, we'll set it up though. Obviously, end of season 2, Satan was encased in Nicholas Scratch's body. He was taken down to hell with Madam Satan, who was now was ruling over hell, and Sabrina wanted to get Nick back, and that's where we are at the beginning of season 1.
Yes,
and he did just, Nick did volunteer.
He did volunteer.
So you've got to remember
right?
that. You've got to remember that for this one.
He volunteered for that shit. But I do want to get into Nick. I think his story is very complicated. But yes, I feel like everybody seems to forget it was not Sabrina's idea to make him the human. What is it? The Comicron? The Chromicron? Acrocon.
Adirondack? No.
Acheron. Yes. The thing, the puzzle that keeps Satan inside of him. And they're just wrestling. They're wrestling in there.
They're
wrestling in there.
Oh my gosh. He has such great reaction faces.
Sarah.
Okay.
What you got?
This is the first note I have.
First note you got.
But it also encompasses the entire season somehow.
Big notes.
Yes. So there is no debate about whether or not the friend group will follow Sabrina to hell. I feel like in past seasons it would have been a giant scene about like, we can't go to hell, we're humans, and there was no debate. It was like, yes. And I feel like that was true for the entire season, was that there was no questioning her. There was no going against her.
You're right. And you didn't like that.
I didn't, and I thought it wasn't true to the characters. I felt like in the first 2 seasons, if something like that had happened, they would have reacted a totally opposite way. And in this season, to keep the story moving, they had them not push back at all.
I get that. I'm gonna give you a counterpoint, which is I didn't think about that too much, so I'm glad you brought that up. But now that I'm thinking about it, I feel the reason is perhaps to move the story forward, but also I feel like that was a plot they dealt with in season 2, where in season 1, Sabrina's like hiding her witchiness. Season 2, her friends aren't sure if they can accept her, and she's not sure if they can accept her. And I feel like by the end of season 2, because remember they go into the mines and they open up, they help her open up the gates of hell.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've already now decided that they're on her team. What did she call them? Like the Boo Squad or some shit?
Oh, they bang themselves at the end or whatever, and then
they're a team now. So I think they've all decided that, they're a team. Now, whether or not Sabrina holds up her end of the bargain as being part of the team this season, I think is the bigger problem. But for them, I think they're just like, whatever you need. Although it is extraordinarily dangerous to bring a bunch of mortal humans into hell.
into hell.
Yeah, a bunch of underage humans. Too.
I know. I mean, it's not even legal. Am I right?
No.
Our underage humans. I will say this about hell: it is very well labeled.
Yes.
You are not
it
going to
is-
get lost in
it is-
hell.
No, you follow those signs.
Yes.
Follow the road. That was one thing I loved about. If we talk about that
Yes,
episode, but
let's.
they brought
talk about
so many. Which we'll talk about in the different, like Shakespeare and stuff. But this
They
that
did,
episode was
yeah.
very, you're watching Wizard of Oz.
Absolutely.
Follow the Blood Red Road. They run into the Scarecrow and
Yep.
into the Tin Man. And
The Scarecrow,
Lilith
who is Harvey's brother.
No, the Scarecrow is.
No, I'm sorry. The
Tin
Tin
Man
Man
is
is Harvey's brother.
The Scarecrow is Uncle
Scarecrow's
Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
Jesse.
That's right.
and who is the lion?
I think it's very loose,
Caliban?
but I'm
It
gonna,
was very loose.
No, I think it was the principal because he
was
was
supposed to be
wearing all
the-
these razor blade things. It was like his chest had been opened up and he had razor blades coming out. I
Okay.
think, but they were in like kind of almost like a lion shape.
Okay.
'Cause
And
that
he
had-
is cowardly.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a cowardly
I mean,
character.
that's what I was
so
trying to figure. That would have
I-
been the cowardly
it was-
scene, but I couldn't place
It was a stretch, but that's I think what they did. Yeah.
But then, with Lilith being, Madam Satan, but she was more like the Wicked Witch at the time. Her little henchman was dressed in like a little bellhop uniform, which is
Yes.
what the evil monkeys
oh
wore.
my God, you're right.
With
I
the Wizard
didn't
of
even
Oz. They wore
realize
like
that.
little.
Who is Glinda the Good Witch? Sabrina.
no, she's definitely.
Dorothy.
I guess are they all?
She would have been.
Dorothy.
They would have all kind of been.
Who's
They
Toto
would've
in
all
that
been
scenario? It's Harvey, isn't it? Harvey's Toto.
He's the dog.
Yeah.
No, Salem, but Salem wasn't there.
Salem wasn't. Yeah, that's something else.
Salem
they,
was
they
like
don't use Salem.
Backseat
Ever.
as fuck in this
They
season.
didn't. Oh, that's true. You didn't. You saw him like once.
There were a couple
Yeah.
times. He did
And then
come in and
that's
give
it.
Sabrina some sass about Harvey at one point.
Oh yeah, but they didn't.
I don't remember what episode.
No, but the way that Harvey acted towards her, I'm like, in high school, like I wouldn't have gotten over my first relationship that fast.
Well, he kind of had to because they were all BFFs.
Yeah.
Although they were constantly taunting me this season. Like even in the first episode, they're like, just in case you wanted to entertain the notion that Sabrina and Harvey are getting back together, let's have her shoot his brother again.
Yeah.
Like
Let's reinforce this. That by the way, yeah, that's happening right now.
But yeah, I thought that whole thing was good.
Like it was fun. It was dark. It was
Yeah,
there
I
was
liked it.
camp, and it brought in Sarah's.
I was a
Caliban,
little worried
you
at
know.
in the first episode because it was a lot of exposition, and I was like, this is a lot of information and not a lot happening so much. Although now that you frame it it makes it more interesting. But I remember at the end of because Sarah and I watched most of this separately, but we did watch the first episode together, and I remember turning to Sarah at the end of the first episode, and I was like, that was kind of anticlimactic.
Because it all was to get Nick back from hell.
Right, which I don't
Which was
didn't
not a-
do by the end of the first episode. Did they?
No,
they didn't.
No,
They just
did not.
had milkshakes at the end and said they were going to get Nick back, right?
Yeah. Basically.
Isn't that how it ended?
Yeah.
Like he's still in hell in episode 2, right?
Yes.
Because she was there. See, now I'm trying to remember. That's when.
He comes back in episode 2.
Well, no, he's in the episode. He's just chained up.
No, I'm saying he comes
Oh,
back.
come
from
back.
Oh, wait,
hell.
no.
And from hell,
in
yes.
episode 2,
Yeah.
because at the end of episode 1 is when the princes are showing up.
Yes.
And and Lilith has to tell Sabrina. This is where it also starts, where it's like, Sabrina, you are going to have to be queen of hell because the princes
Yes.
are coming to. She's like, I need her alive. That's what got her out of the classroom,
Yes.
so that she could bring her there because the princes were coming to question Lilith's
Right,
Well,
because
Yeah.
claim to the throne, and she's like, well, I need Sabrina here because she's a morning star. And
yes, to legitimize the throne. Yes.
But then Satan pulls Sabrina into Nick's head and tells her, "You have to be
yes.
the queen of hell, and then I'll release Nick."
Satan's hot, you guys. I'm not. You don't think so?
He's okay.
You think he's okay?
Well, I mean,
I
think
mean,
about
I
it. She
wouldn't-
likes Caliban, so they're two
Okay,
definite
well,
opposites.
you know-
So you get her taste. I
I
think
haven't even
he's-
talked about
usually-
Caliban. We should let you talk. He's in the first episode.
I
Let's
usually
grant
prefer-
Sarah some time to tell us all about. Because as soon as he came on the screen, I could feel Sarah's body vibrating next to me on the couch.
What I don't under. Like,
And your eyes are filled with stars right now as you think about. You're like looking off into the distance.
well, it's weird because I usually prefer brunettes over blondes, but like there's something about his face that's just like.
He's
And
like
his
he's like a
voice.
Netflix Chris Hemsworth.
His voice is just so
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
You think?
such
Is
a
it the
sexy
accent?
voice. The accent
Yeah.
mixed with I don't know,
Like he
it's just
sounds kind of stupid. He always sounded like a little,
there.
like a little stupid,
a little
like
stupid,
a tiny
yeah,
bit stupid.
Yeah, but
He has nice pecs.
you know, if you're just looking for some fun, you don't want to
No.
someone who makes you think too hard, I guess.
No.
Anyway,
episode is
sorry,
the-
Nicole's
That
like,
makes sense,
no,
but
I'm
that's
trying-
where.
Anyway.
But then that's where that brought in, like all of a sudden it was like, oh, he's Caliban, and I'm like, Shakespeare, what's?
Yes,
And
right.
I'm like,
so
the Tempest?
Give
And
us,
it's
yeah,
like-
give us a little context
Yeah.
there because you're our resident Shakespeare expert.
Because even Danny had when I said, you don't know who Caliban is, and of course
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really do Shakespeare, and I was like, he looked Caliban up, and I'm like, no, in the Tempest on the island,
Mm-hmm.
that Caliban was actually the island was given to him, and
Yeah.
Prospero showed up and was like, no, this is mine.
Okay.
So it almost brings that legitimacy, like, well, hell, it should be his.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, if you bring
But
that
he's
story in.
a clay man, right? He's clay. I'm a little unclear about his backstory.
Yeah, that
he's made of clay.
is not
and then
really
the,
a Shakespeare
the
thing.
Kings
It's more
brought
like
him
the
in.
name, but yeah, then they brought him in as to.
I feel like this is a good time to talk about what I think one of the big themes of the season was, and what was a little bit of a thorn in my craw this season was the way, like, I feel like the season was then last season. So last season was all about this huge patriarchy that they were all kind of crushed under, right? Like Father Blackwood had created the Church of Judas or whatever, and it was very patriarchal. And then at the end, the women came back and kind of crushed the patriarchy. Lilith took over hell, Aunt Z took over the academy, and blah, 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 right? So now in season 3, all these women are in charge and everyone is just failing like hardcore at all that. Like Zelda cannot keep a handle on the academy. All of the witches are losing their powers. Madam Satan, immediately, no one sees her as a legitimate ruler. Then Sabrina is made queen of hell to legitimize the throne because now all these kings have come in and brought this man to come in, Caliban, to come in and take over.
And challenge her.
Right. And she's not doing a great job. Like she is consistently making poor decisions. And so like none of the women in this show are doing a good job at being leaders. And I want to put a pin in the resolution of that because I think they do address it in the last episode, which we'll talk about in episode 2 of this podcast. But for a large part of the season, I was feeling very like, I mean, I get that it's more dramatically interesting for them to not be good at their jobs, but also I'm like, it seems like they're all waiting around for some man to come and fix things. And I would like, they were like, the witches needed Satan's power to be powerful. Right. And I was like, why is everyone bad at their jobs? What does that say about what, like,
women in power?
Yeah, like what is, like, I would have rather seen women get power and then, like, I like the idea of their legitimacy being questioned by the patriarchy. That makes total sense. But like, at least have them be good at it and then struggling with, like, unable to fulfill their job because they keep getting questioned and undermined. Like that feels very familiar. Anyway, I don't know what you guys think about it.
No,
I'm just gonna put that out there.
I agree.
That makes sense because even when they come up to Lilith, it's like technically that's the queen. That is the head honcho, you know, and you're still going to walk up and then say, no, I'm going to talk to you like this. That's why I was like, the first time we talked to Sabrina, I'm like,
seriously,
you would kill them immediately or something.
I wanted to see Lilith snap some fucking necks or something.
And she didn't. It's true. For the other seasons, you saw her as this very, very strong. Where you're like, she is
capable,
control. She
cunning.
got Sabrina to. Now, granted, she was still doing some of Satan's, his.
But
his
she also
mission.
had her own end game.
She had her own agenda, and she got everyone to do it, and she had all this power. And then all of a sudden, it's like, she doesn't because they're not listening. No, you still have this power.
Yeah,
you could do what you
impotent in this season.
Yeah,
so impotent, and is like they're praying to her, but then they, well, I guess we'll talk about this later, but I found that very bothersome. Yeah. And I feel like they did, and I will talk about this.
It was like a slow burn
they
to get
did,
it.
Yeah,
to
like it took
address
them very long to address it. I'll just say that. And I was like, I don't know that we had to go this way. Now, I do like the whole story of Sabrina and whether she's going to be Queen of Hell and everything, but like I don't know. I get why they went there, but it also created this problematic story, which was that none of the women in this, like none of them can do anything.
The writers made a feminine mistake, right?
Thank you.
Isn't that how
Thank you.
say?
Thank
The
you.
feminine
Thank you.
mistake. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. That's our new theme song. Okay, so Sarah, what else you got?
Yeah, we just talked about our my next note there, which is the three kings wanting Prince Caladan to be king of hell above the women, and that feels like
Weird. Yeah.
So
Also, what are his qualifications? I mean,
Right.
he's made of clay. Does he have any leadership experience? Has he ever been in charge of any small part of hell? Does he have any lower management experience? Does he even have any customer service experience?
No,
I
don't
ask
know.
you.
But he wants to make Earth the 10th circle of hell.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
Oh, that's right. That's what his goal is.
Which is like they're all like, great. Let's
the kings.
do
Yeah,
the kings. Yeah.
I feel like heaven would have a problem with that, right? We heard about heaven a lot, but we never saw that.
Other than-
which I thought
other than-
we would.
in this, other than in the last season where you saw the two angels came into the
Well,
church
those
or
were
whatever,
like,
but
weren't
they were
those like renegade Nazi angels?
but they were, yeah, but
Basically,
but that's all
They
you
were like
see,
Aryan
like heaven.
angels.
There's this whole, hierarchy and everything in hell. Very much, it's not chaos.
Yeah.
It's still very orderly in a way.
Yes.
And then you have earth, but it's
seems like a
but it's
monarchy in hell.
Yeah, but then it's
Yeah.
like it's true. You don't ever see heaven. Never.
Was
it's like-
heaven? Were those angels? And by the way, I thought they were gonna be something to do in this season. Like I thought those angels were gonna be a storyline that continued to be some kind of threat. But maybe they're gonna use that some other time. I don't know. The only time we ever saw them being used was when they used that guy's blood to sort of because Dorian's got to fix his pimple. That's his story. That's his through line.
That was
story. Dorian.
that was part of the first one because that's how they ended up.
Has acne and he needs to. That is literally his only storyline this season.
That's true. They
is
wanted him
his
to get the
pimple.
flower.
Yes.
That's why they ended up
well,
in
it
hell.
obviously didn't work
He's
because he had
"I
like
can-"
6 more pimples in the next episode.
Well, also that he's like a BDSM dealer to Nick.
Yeah,
as
that's true.
well. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Which I don't remember that really being. Like I know he had the pleasures and stuff like that, but then
I guess he can get you whatever you want.
Yeah.
his desires, yeah.
But yeah,
Should we talk about Nick?
the pimple thing was a little much.
Or let's talk about the pimples.
No,
some
no,
more.
I mean,
no. I
that's all
mean,
have
this
to
is a
say.
pressing
That's all I have
issue.
to say.
This is a pressing issue. Dorian has pimples, and he spends the entire season trying to get rid of them, and that's really his
I would
entire
be
purpose.
mad if I were the
and he has a
actor.
portrait for everything, you guys. Do you
Yes.
need to go to Waffle House in the middle of the night? Dorian's got a portrait of that. Did you miss your flight to Detroit? Dorian's got a painting for that. He's got a painting for everything. Mm-hmm. So that was his other purpose, I think. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Was that too convenient for him to have a literal painting for everything?
Everything in this season was too convenient.
It was a little, yeah.
Convenient. I think
that's fair.
I think that they fit everything together to make it fit, but like
they did, yeah.
But it felt forced. It didn't feel completely 100% like that makes sense. It just felt like this is a plot device.
This
Let's
is a
move
plot
it.
device.
Let's move
Somebody
it.
holds up a stick that says plot device on it. Yeah. But to be fair, have we been fans of Sabrina because of the tight plotting?
tight plot. No.
Or has it been the tight abs?
The tight.
There we
tight,
go.
Yeah.
There
Tight
we
abs.
are.
I think Sabrina is campy and fun. And I love the actors, and I enjoy the characters, and I love all the witchy shit.
Story is fun,
and it's fun. But I would not say that you should pick it apart under any circumstances.
So let's just stop right now.
No.
Turn off the mics.
No, let's continue to pick it apart.
We're done here.
But I for some reason, I guess I'm just saying I agree with you.
Happening once.
I felt that and when we talk about the last episode, I especially felt that in the last episode. But for the most part, it doesn't bother me too much because I'm not expecting a great deal of skill in the writing from the show.
You're right. The story. You're like, well, how's the story happening? Now, it's like, it's
you
can understand.
A skosh above a
You're
CW
like, okay,
show.
exactly.
Yeah.
And having the portrait, having it once, I didn't think of it. It's like, okay, well, she has to have another way to get into hell.
Sure.
So there we go. And then
Which
it
they
was
didn't
like,
apparently need any more because they can just do that fire tornado to get to
yeah.
hell after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, it was way too. It was way too simple for them to come back from hell. I was expecting some kind of like, ooh, it didn't
How did
work.
they get back?
They just like said the chant with the flower and got back, and I was
Yes.
just like, okay.
Yeah, that happened a lot. There was a lot of but it does get a little complicated later as they start to lose their powers.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about Nicholas Scratch. If anybody's ready to talk about Nicholas Scratch. Here's my feelings about Nicholas Scratch. First of all, what I really find interesting about his story is that you don't see a lot of men experiencing trauma in stories. And I feel like in going back and listening to it, I even feel like there was it almost felt like sexual trauma because how he was talking about how he was feeling violated and debased and he didn't feel like himself anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think that gets portrayed a lot in mainstream culture.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was very fascinating and a really strong part of the story. I also found myself feeling really frustrated and angry about it because, and maybe this is what happens when you go through trauma, you start blaming other people around you. It seemed like there was a lot of blame on Sabrina, but like you said, like it wasn't her idea. It wasn't even, she didn't make him do that. And also there was a lot of like I was torn. Wait, let me see if I can find. I literally wrote, like, my feelings are so complicated about this. Like, I feel bad for him. I feel like she's pretending like nothing happened, which people do when they want to like move on and somebody isn't ready to move on and they're not giving proper gravity to this thing that this person went through. And he doesn't want to talk about it, and that makes sense. But also I'm like frustrated with how he is pushing the abuse off on her as well, and how willing she is to take it. Anyway, I'm just like, I'm going to stir the pot and let's discuss.
That jumps ahead to a different episode.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Go for it, yeah.
So him, like how he reacts to her and how he treats her and how he eventually breaks up with her, like that is like the most true to how human beings would actually act and react to things out of the whole season. So while it does suck and it's heartbreaking, but I feel like that is what someone would actually do.
And why do you think, I want to press you further to dig a little deeper as to why you think it's so realistic.
So people will often push away those that care about them the most, those that they care about the most when they are in pain. And when they are suffering, when they have trauma, they will try to blame those around them. They will try to, I've examples in my own life of where people have pushed me away when they were going through painful things, when it was actually the opposite of their best interest. Yeah. And it like makes no sense. Like it seems to make no sense, but it actually does.
Yeah. Okay. No, I completely agree. And I found myself very sympathetic of him for the first half of the season. And then as we got deeper, I found myself getting really mad at him, where I would literally, like, he would come in and he would say something to Sabrina and I'd be like, fuck you. Yeah. And then when I went back, because I watched the whole thing and didn't take notes, and then I went back and kind of did like a scrub through where I just kind of scrubbed through each episode and wrote down some notes. And I found myself really sympathizing with him a lot more and seeing the complexity of what was going on, how he was really trying to and how painful it was for him to be with somebody who was the daughter of this person that had violated him, and how he wanted to be with her, but he just couldn't get past that. Yeah. And I agree. I think that was one of the most multi-dimensional aspects of the season, and a season that is relatively fluffy. Like there was something very real. Yeah. And anyway.
And the scene where they break up was very like hard for me. Like so and her reaction to that and her like desperation and like, no, like we can work this out, and he's just like, he's already made up his mind, and
he's saying it's for her, and she's like, don't tell me this is for me, this isn't for me. Like, it all felt very
and I still love you, and like, it's like, well then why, like, if you still love me. So
Yeah. Some great work by Gavin Leatherwood, I feel like.
Is that the actor's name?
That is his name.
That is like a porn star name.
I know. He is shirtless for a
Leatherwood.
very large part of the season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yes.
He
he's
is
very much
not wearing a shirt
Most of it.
at
yeah.
all. Lots of
Yeah.
shirtlessness. Brandon, let's let Brandon weigh in
I'm
on this.
sorry,
Oh, on that
Brandon.
one?
Yes,
No, on this
please.
whole thing. If you
no,
would.
No, I agree. It was very real and very much. She was sometimes like someone says, "Well, I want to help." They don't understand, so it's like, "Well, I'm going to be here for you," but then I'm also going to try even harder to get you to change, to show you that I'm doing this, because I think they ended up doing the spell where. And this is, I guess, further on, but
That's
sort of
okay. I feel like
I know
while
I'm trying
we're
to think sort of a
talking about this,
detox
yeah.
of like getting all of everything
Which was
that's
a
happening
great
to you. It's
scene.
like
Yeah.
we're gonna put this spell on you and have you go through a whole detox within 24 hours. But
Yeah, they
but
use
it's like we're gonna
the time egg, which we haven't talked about yet. There's this weird fetus egg that they have that makes time pass differently, and they use it to put him through like a super quick and painful detox because he's been drugging it up, drinking it up.
And that's one of the things that happens, with Trump. They, people do that. They'll drink. They'll do something to numb that pain, and it's like Sabrina's very much like I'm gonna let's
fix
do this.
you.
I'm gonna fix you, and it's like I don't want you to fix me. It's like I know what you've gone through. No, you don't. And you can empathize with someone and say, but you've got to let them figure it out. And it's like she was, on the other hand, of sort of not pushing, but being like, I'm here for you. I'm here. Let's fix this. And he just wasn't ready for that. And that was one of that sort of that breaking point that you get to with someone where it's like, well, fine, you're going to act like this. Then
there's an impasse.
Then I'm going to walk away from this, even though it's hard. And maybe we can work it out. But it's almost like she needed that. But then that comes off of her with Harvey too. You're just like, you can't win. So what are you gonna?
I know.
What are you gonna?
She fucked things up so hard with Harvey though. Like that was like, I am surprised that he was able to forgive her for that. What she did with his brother was like, I mean, that was so long ago in the first season when she like resurrected his brother and then he came back and then he had to kill his own brother. Like. Whew, boy, like that was a whole can of worms. Yeah, that I'm not sure how he was able. But with Nick, I don't think it was her fault. Like, it was very clear that like what she did was a big mistake with Harvey and almost irreparable. It's shocking that they can still be in the same room with each other after what he did. But they did that. But they resolved it last season, so I'm accepting it at this point, and I'm still shipping them. Okay. Fully shipping them. I will fully ship. Nothing is going to make me stop shipping Harvey and Sabrina. I don't know why. I just really want them to be together. I wish that
Roz was dead.
No, I don't. I love Roz. I love Roz. They almost got me by the end of the season. I mean, obviously they're very happy together. I just like, I feel like they have a lot of chemistry, and like I think they played around. You don't think they have You don't think Harvey and Sabrina have chemistry?
Harvey and Sabrina, yes. But Roz, I want Roz to just like.
No, I love Roz. I love Roz, and I love her character, and we should talk more about her. But I don't know, like Sabrina and Harvey have this like chemistry, and I think they were definitely playing with that with the season. But anyway, back to Nick.
Well,
this wasn't her fault, no. I feel like, but there was a lot of blame being put on her.
And some of it too is in that particular scenario, someone says, well, I'm going to do this because I love you, and then you have no idea.
You weren't worth it.
You have, and also you have no idea.
When he says that, you weren't worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, it cuts so hard.
But it's also you don't know
that
what
because he just is in such pain, and he goes on to apologize.
Well, maybe it wasn't worth it for what he had to go through.
And that's the thing. No one knew at the time. Like if someone's like, "You're gonna
like abused.
Satan's gonna you're gonna house Satan." Okay, sure. I have no idea what that means.
And he was feeling guilty because he had been lying to her. Like he also did it, I think, because he felt guilty. And that was the other reason why he volunteered. It seemed like a brave thing to do at the time, but then when you're wrestling Satan,
shirtless for
when you're wrestling Satan shirtless for however long, I don't know how long he was in there.
He said that he felt like years.
Weeks.
He said that
he said it felt like years. Yeah.
It was like just constant. Yeah. Someone trying to take over your body. But of course, you don't know that at the time. That's what's going to happen, and then you come out and like, oh God, I can't believe I did that.
It's like when somebody needs help moving. And you're like, sure, I'll come by. I've got a truck, and I'll help you move your couch. And then you're there, and you're like, oh my god,
You haven't packed yet?
this is terrible. What have I gotten
Where are the
myself
boxes?
into?
Oh,
It's
we're
exactly
doing
the
everything.
same, right? It's totally the same.
Hell is moving.
Hell is moving. Satan is inside me. Okay.
Oh, God.
So who have we? So that and what is that? That's like the first. That's only the first 2 episodes.
Well, there's a lot of stuff we haven't. We did talk about a lot. We covered a lot with Nick.
I mean,
Let's
if you
move
want
on.
to
What
talk
else you
about,
got? What else you got on your list? We're not going to cover everything.
Yeah.
We'll just bounce around.
So can I jump
It's
to
being
episode
possible.
2?
You can jump to any place you want, girl.
Okay, cool.
I have a painting
so
for that.
Episode 2.
Well, we're getting to the painting, and we'll go straight to your next point.
So episode 2 is mainly Sabrina doing job training, which is
I actually
sending
loved
souls to
that.
hell.
I wanted to see
Yeah.
more of her
Yes.
taking souls. I wanted to see more on the job
More
training.
souls, yeah.
I was enjoying the shit out of that.
Yeah, me too. But the first soul is a man who plays chess, who just asked to be good at chess, right?
He said he sold
He
his
wanted to
soul
be
to
a
be the best at
champion?
chess.
Yeah.
What if that guy is a fucking Nazi? Like, she doesn't
yeah.
do a background check on him. She just puts him in that white limousine. Like,
So we did see heaven like the one time. I guess
well, we
two
saw the
limos,
two limos.
show up.
It's
so
nice that
an
you get to
either
at least
or.
ride a limo after you die.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in a limo, so.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was a cool storyline. They've done that in a season of Supernatural.
But my point is, she just pardons him.
Yeah.
She has no idea what that guy's past is.
Yeah. She's just like, he's a nice old
He
man who
seems
plays
nice.
chess.
Yeah, maybe he fucking, like, kills people. I don't know. Like, we
Or,
don't know what
why
his
would you
past is.
sell your soul to be good at chess? There must be something like sinister going on. Like,
Well, I think that he just really loved chess, right? That was the whole thing.
it makes no sense though.
Well, I just feel like she needed to just dig a little deeper. Maybe get the bellhop minion to, like, look into him a little bit, like look into his
Yeah.
file.
And then Soul 2 was an ice cream man.
That fucking plot was great. My true crime heart was
Yeah,
so into
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like there was an entire season of Dexter that was about like the ice truck killer, and
I find ice cream trucks to be very disturbing, to be honest. I mean, white vans driving around with music playing to get children to come up to your van.
yeah,
No thanks.
yeah.
They had an episode like that in Charmed. Speaking of witches.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the ice cream man. He would take little children and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
capture them.
Exactly.
Who doesn't
Don't
love ice
trust
cream?
it.
So-
you know?
I don't trust it.
This guy basically, he was about to die on the side of the road after a bad wreck, and then he was like prayed to God, but Satan got there first, and he like gave him his life for his soul, and then when his soul started to expire, not his soul, I don't know.
He only
when
could. He was.
got
He
Contract
was.
expired.
It was a
Contract
7-year
expired.
warranty.
and then
So
was
when the
like,
warranty's up,
then he was like, I need more time,
Yeah.
and to get more time, he had to kill kids, right?
no,
An innocent.
he had to bring an innocent soul to Satan.
Okay, which is the same thing as killing kids, right?
No,
It could be anyone.
But
the one
he
that
chose to kill kids.
in this one he chose to, at least the last one. But he tells Sabrina at one point when she finds out that, because he's like, oh, I just have to get another soul on my contract. She's like, what? No, and he's like, I just have to give an innocent soul. And that I think
Okay,
that's
so
where
it
she brings
could
up
be
kids.
like
So it could be a grandmother who's
Mr. Rogers or something.
yeah.
he
It
could-
could be
he could kill
It could
Mr.
be a
Rogers,
nice
sure.
old chess man, you know.
Yeah,
It
maybe
could
if the chess man wasn't a fucking Nazi, we don't know.
be, an innocent soul.
Just
but
saying.
I'm sure kids for the most part probably easy.
Yeah.
I think I think the implication is that he wanted to kill the children,
Yes.
and this gave him an excuse.
Yes. Exactly.
Maybe. Or maybe
No, for real.
or maybe once he made that contract with Satan, his soul was like there was something tarnished in him.
Corrupted or something.
That
Yeah.
made this. In any case, he is a fucking child murderer, and he starts snatching kids and putting them in his ice cream truck, and he has one of them. And then the whole episode is about them trying to get this kid back.
Yeah.
I did like that Roz and Sabrina got to work together and to accomplish a goal. And I wish we had seen more of that.
Yeah.
Because she was using her cunning, Sabrina was using her magic. I wanted to see more of them teaming up and using their powers to accomplish
Yeah.
something. I wish we had had more of that.
I agree.
Anyway.
Like a little Nancy Drew thing.
Yeah. Let's get a spinoff of just Roz and Sabrina solving mysteries.
But Roz was put out of the game really early on, and then stayed
for a
out
large
for few
chunk of
episodes,
yeah. Well, we haven't. Oh my God, you
Because
guys,
that's
we
the
haven't
whole
even gotten to the pagans.
the whole pagan
we're like
storyline.
We haven't gotten to the
We haven't gotten to the pagans at all.
whole holy regalia.
Holy
is the other
shit, you
thing.
guys!
What's happening with Father Blackwood and the school?
Holy shit! Okay, so let's at least hit because I think we can also roll that into the next episode if we need to.
Their story was a little bit.
Yeah, I think we can roll that in. So let's at least talk about the pagans because there's a lot going there. So there's this carnival that comes to town, and they represent the old ones, right? Like at some point, Satan says the old ones are coming because all the balance is off in hell. And they've seen this. So it's like more the pagan gods, like the gods of the earth. The Green Man,
Greek gods and God and.
Well, I would say like they represent more the pagan witchery, which is earth-based magic.
Right, which was in ancient Greece, ancient Rome, like all the ancient civilizations.
Sure. But it did, I think that was the magic that got stomped out by Christianity. Yeah. And so we've got Pan. Right, we've got the Circe, who's she has the transformative magic.
That's who it was. I was trying to remember her today,
and I don't remember the other one, but the other one was basically like Medusa.
It was a Gorgon.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think Medusa was one of the Gorgon, which I had a problem.
Okay,
speaking
please
of the last one,
let us know.
It was the last episode on that, so I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
But I really like that, and then
so she can turn people to stone,
and she does. Roz.
She does. She turns Roz to stone.
Because, do you know why?
Yeah, because the cunning.
She's had sex.
Well, okay, so we didn't really get into this. So the pagans, while Sabrina we'll talk about in a minute what she's dealing with, but while Sabrina's dealing with all that hell shit, the mortals are dealing with these pagans and also the witches because the witches have lost their power and the pagans have come to town. Love that Hair Moon episode, by the way, where they're all dressed in white. Oh my God, fabulous. So the pagans want to kind of take back the earth. And they are building this green. It's a nice craft project. They went to Michael's. It looks great. It looks fantastic. But they need some virgin motherfucking blood to get this Green Man up and running. And they're all fresh out of Michael's.
Yeah.
So
apparently Harvey, Theo, and Sabrina are the last three
but they don't seem like
virgins, and
they don't want to fuck with Sabrina because she's got celestial blood, so she would just destroy the whole thing. So they're really looking. So everybody in this season is trying to bone down. Really, everyone, like everyone is trying.
Theo, Harvey.
We didn't talk about this, but Nicholas Scratch he's got his sex demons that he's like trying to fuck the pain away or whatever. And that's a song from what was the name of that?
Fuck the pain away.
There's literally a song. God. It's this. It'll come to me. I'll remember it. Somebody out there knows it. Somebody out there who went to high school in the 90s knows what I'm talking about.
In their car.
So Harvey and Roz ready to take their relationship to the next level, right? Making out. She's fully clothed. Yeah. He's in his boxer shorts in the living room, as you do. Seems weird, but okay. And so they're ready to do it.
But they're alone for a lot of the time. So I'm like, teenagers who want to have sex will find a way.
I love that Harvey is so sweet and like he's gonna do it whenever she's ready. Yeah. Like he is not pressuring her at all.
Who has she had sex with?
She talks about it in the second season. It was like I don't remember the story, but I remember her saying that she didn't really care, like it wasn't a good experience. That's what I remember.
Okay.
Like she didn't really she did it and then she was and it was like not as big a deal as she thought it would be, but also was like I love that he doesn't pressure her at all. That was not my experience in high school. Not at all. But also, to be honest, it is high school sex, so they could get in and get out in less than 5 minutes. Am I right?
I'm just saying, they're alone. They're alone for more than 5 5 minutes in this.
I mean, you can
this
get
season,
it. You can get it done and be back to
in the back of that truck,
back to the lunch, back to the diner for a milkshake in less than 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they don't, and I think that's sweet. I think it's beautiful and sweet. I adore Harvey and how like he's just like whenever you want, babe, whatever you want. I love it. I love men that are submissive to me. Okay,
yes.
And there it is.
I need to be in charge. That is the point. Okay, and then Theo meets a new kid in town.
What's his name? Robin.
Robin
Can you tell us
Goodfellow,
about
i.e. Shakespeare.
That is, yes, thank you. Please tell us about
Robin Goodfellow is Puck
Yes.
in Midsummer Night's Dream.
that. Right.
That's his real name. And that's where, again, all of a sudden I was like, wait, Puck? You're bringing, is this like Midsummer Night's Dream? What are these, again, Shakespeare and Caliban.
Catch any of these, like, 'cause I don't know Shakespeare.
And when I first saw his character too, it was like, oh.
You thought he
I was
an
like,
elf?
he's an, or not an elf,
sorry, not
but
an elf.
but I was like, he's not good. This is a bad character, thinking he
Right.
is one.
So you already were tipped off.
I was
just
I was
like,
thinking,
he's sweet.
Is he a gremlin?
He
Is
seems
a-
nice. He said he's a hobgoblin.
like a hobgoblin,
hobgoblin.
who runs very quickly, who moves very quickly.
Okay.
But
And he's got
the first
the
time,
pointy ears.
Pointy
I was like, oh no, this a new character has shown up, and Theo now has a love interest, and they've
I
got
thought
something
that was
going on.
so
was
sweet.
very
And it was
Yeah.
at first I was like, but come on, this is Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Something's going on here.
True.
And
I was very
but
naive.
they really resolve
Yeah.
that story, and we'll talk about.
Yeah,
that
I think
one.
that's more of a second half of the show kind
But
of situation.
whenever his name was Robin, and I was like, oh, okay, that.
But he's a plant from the pagans because they're trying to they need that virgin blood for their craft project, right? So they need so Robin's job is to sort of keep an eye on Theo because Medusa can sniff out virgins. That's what she does. I mean, who among us can't, right? So Medusa can sniff out virgins, and she said, Robin, you go with this one. Medusa shacks up with Harvey's dad. Ew, to keep an eye on them. Oh my God, when he's like, are you wearing my mom's robe? And she's like, would you like me to take it off? And I'm like,
yeah,
no.
Oh,
And
that's right, because she was the burlesque kind of stripper at the snake charmer.
There, I feel like they rolled a lot into that character. I'm like, she's Medusa, but she's also like snake charming them. I don't know. That was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot they put in there, but yeah. But yes. So, but not only is Roz not a virgin, but she also has the cunning, and they're worried that she's going to see through their plans.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and turn her to stone real quick.
Which I was really disappointed by because the cunning has not really been explored that much.
I know.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, next season, can we explore it? And can we?
I'd like to see a little bit more of it,
go,
too.
Go to heaven too. I want to see. Heaven.
I know. I thought we were going to see that, but we didn't. Yeah. So that's the pagans. And let's touch on the unholy regalia. Who wants to tackle that?
The unholy regalia.
The god regalia.
So that becomes the challenge
Yeah.
for Sabrina in hell, like the Caliban and
I have
Sabrina
the signatures.
Yes,
I'm gonna challenge you.
He's gone around. He's taken his petition. He's knocked door to door. He's went door to door
hell.
on hell. He's been putting those mailers in. He's got his signatures, and he is ready to challenge
and so there are
the Queen of Hell.
there's of course 3 items, the unholy relics that have to be found, and whoever finds the most, obviously there's 3, so it's going to be the best out of 3.
Gonna be honest, didn't expect Dracula to make an appearance.
No, not at all. That was one of those. There's your convenient
like,
plot
oh,
twists
they're-
because how did
it's Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula as well, right? I was like, oh, okay.
I think so. So
Sure.
the first thing that they have to get is Herod. It's Herod's crown, or no,
Herod's
yeah,
crown, yeah.
King Herod's crown.
Who is King Herod again? Is he the one that cut the baby in
He's
half?
the one that killed. No, King Herod is the one that killed all the firstborn babies after Jesus. When he heard that Jesus was going to be born, they
Old
killed.
Testament, the New Testament. I don't know what testament it is.
I don't
The
know my
Third
Testament.
That's the
I'll be
old,
honest.
I think it's in the Old Testament.
It is
and that's
because
well,
it's in
Jesus is in the New
Bible.
Testament.
It's not Jesus. It's Moses. He's trying to.
someone out there is yelling right now,
Moses.
like I can't believe you.
No, I don't know.
It's, can I interest
it's
you
the
in some
Old
Star Wars
Testament.
trivia?
No, it is. It's because they're trying Wait. As I say it, it feels like a dream that's escaping from my
We did not look this up.
No, as far as that's
Herod
what
did
I
some
remember.
bad shit, you
Herod,
guys.
I think that
King
was his
Herod
thing.
was
is
a
that
bad
I think
dude.
he was the one,
that killed the firstborns, which was part of the.
that was the last.
I'm
of the
sorry.
plague.
Does this was it? Did he kill the firstborn Jews? Is that what Passover is about?
Passover.
I knew this sounded familiar. Okay.
Old Testament.
Yes, Old Testament.
Yeah, Old Testament shit there.
I'm a bad
The
Jew, you
things.
guys. Very
And
bad.
then, so they have to get his crown. And then the second one is.
And he looks very swampy.
Swampy.
He was in a swampy
He was
as
in a
hell.
tree. It was so weird.
He was
a
like
tree.
they had encased him in a tree, and he was very moist in there.
Yes. And when he put that crown back on, when he got it back from
I was like,
Ambrose, it was like,
Oh, and
squelch.
shoved it on his head.
And I was
Yeah.
like, when they put it on his head. Sabrina just leaving unholy relics around all over the place like I lose my sunglasses.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, you are in a battle for the throne of hell. Keep that shit on you at all times.
Yeah.
Well, that's what she does and everything. Sabrina is always, it's still things that she tries to do always tend to either not backfire, but
Ambrose,
you know,
too, likes to keep things. Like, he's like, let
Ambrose,
me hold on to this to
I know,
check.
like, I need
Yeah.
to research this.
Let me hold
he's
on to
like,
this blood.
I'll hold on
I know,
to it.
can I keep this blood? I'm just gonna take this this fetus egg and put it in my aquarium. Is everybody cool with that?
Sure, do whatever you need to do to it.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Brandon.
No.
What were you
And
saying?
then what was the second? The Pontius Pilate's bowl.
Gold, that's right.
Or his bowl.
Oh, his bowl. Sorry, the gold isn't. So we can't talk about the
It's
gold until we get to
silver.
the next episode
gold
because
is- yeah.
was it silver? Hey, I don't know anything about the Bible. So Pontius Pilate's
He was the one
his
that
hand washing bowl, right?
He did what?
did he condemn Jesus?
Pontius Pilate, yeah,
He's the one that
he's
condemned
the
Jesus to be
on the cross,
crucified.
and he pardoned the one fellow.
Oh, so
Right.
you're a better Christian than a Jew?
No, I just watched the episode, and that's what they said in the episode. I was like, okay, so before he did that, he did a little dunk in the bowl because you got to get your hands
To wash
moist.
his hands or
Oh,
whatever.
it's symbolic, right? He's washing his hands
of
the guilt
situation, the
of-
guilt,
yes,
exactly.
yeah. So she's got to get that bowl.
Which
Yeah.
is where they
It looks
first
like something
bring
you
in
would pick up at Pier 1 Imports, frankly.
pretty much home goods.
Wait, that's episode 5, you guys.
Shit. Okay,
Oh,
then don't
okay.
talk about it.
The only one
That's,
is the
I think
crown.
we've
That was the
covered.
only crown.
Let me see if there's any more highlights. I think we pretty much covered
Dr. C
everything.
proposes to Hilda.
Oh, in the first 4 episodes?
When is the hair moon?
This is episode 3.
I did love the scene where they are getting the crown back from Herod at the carnival, and Ambrose explodes him.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty That was classic Sabrina moment. I loved it.
Yeah.
He was all covered. It was like all over them.
And of course,
And then
Caliban
Caliban
shows up,
steals
steals
it.
it, and
Yeah.
goes. So lets her
Yes.
get it, steals it, goes
He's
back,
a
and
fucking
She
cheater,
finds
pumpkin
it.
eater is what
Yeah.
So
he is.
Ambrose finds it, and then Caliban steals it.
Yeah.
so he wins that first round.
We didn't talk about Father Blackwood, but I do want to point out that he looks like he went backpacking in Europe and then came back and is really into hacky sacking now.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to say about him.
Well, his whole story, that
got
little
ousted.
bit, he got ousted, but then what episode did they find him again?
I'll be honest with
One.
you. I
So in
still
episode
don't
1,
know
they
what he was up
find
to.
him,
I have,
and he's
don't know.
been in this time loop for about
and
14
the kids
years.
are now older.
They're older, and he
Chris
was about
is like,
to.
who the fuck are those kids? And I'm like, they're the babies
It
from
took me a
the
minute.
second season.
Yeah.
and he's about to sacrifice them for this egg
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
But of course, Ambrose
Prudence,
and
yeah.
Prudence are after him.
Yeah, and Prudence
and
wants
she's
to
got
kill
she's
him
got a
bad.
And why doesn't she kill him again?
Because
Ambrose
Ambrose
stops.
is like,
We need
no,
him.
let's find out what this egg is for. Because Ambrose needs to know
damn it,
everything.
Ambrose
He's a
keeps
goddamn
everything.
smarty pants. He's like, can I just keep this Father Blackwood in my room for just a second? I'm just gonna do a little research. You can have him right back.
He's a
Prudence.
hoarder. There
He's
we go.
hoarding. He's hoarding. So I think we've covered as much as we can about the first 4 episodes. So let's
He takes drugs. That's all I have for episode
he takes
4.
drugs. Nick takes
Takes
drugs.
drugs.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. Okay. On that note, I think we should wrap it up for this episode because we got a hell of a lot of stuff to talk about for episode
Hell of a
2.
lot.
We've got it's gonna be pandemonium, you guys.
Oh my god. Boo.
welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about all the fun things that we're doing and our guests are doing. Let's start with our special guest, Brandon.
Perfect.
What
Thank
you got going on?
Well, right now, I am working with the team, and we are finishing our final edit and cuts of The Duchess of Grant Park.
It's just
a
Duchess of Grant Park.
It is Duchess of Grant Park. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate it.
Just kidding.
I don't remember. And I made the titles, and I don't even remember.
I'm joking.
Duchess.
I'm
Duchess
sorry.
of Grant
I'm
Park.
sorry.
No, it's the Duchess of Grant
It
Park.
is the-
But I think we might have
He's
called it
there.
Duchess of Grant Park.
I'm just
The
being
Chilling
I'm just being
Adventures
the
of
Chilling Duchess
Duchess
of the Grant Park.
of
That's
Grant Park.
That's the sequel. No, it's it turned from a little 3-minute micro short into this beautiful 20-minute story that I love watching every time. And both of you have been instrumental in Sarah. If you don't know, Sarah was assistant
let's
director.
talk
We'll
more
plug
about it in the
bit.
next. Yeah, we'll talk a little
But
bit more about it in the
if you
next
want to,
episode.
we'll hopefully
So
be
come
finishing
back,
it up
people, to hear
Yes.
more about the
Yes.
Duchess, because we are going to talk about it.
Yes. So we should be finishing it up, and if you want to follow updates, we have a couple of sites. We have our Facebook page, which is Duchess of Grant Park. www.duchessofgrantpark.com is the website. You can also get merch. We have merch.
Duchess merch.
If you follow us on Twitter, it is @ParkDuchess, and then Instagram is @Duchess of Grant Park. So
Yeah.
the Duchess is
And
out
you
there. And
directed
you can
and
find her.
produced this film.
I directed and produced one of my first
Very first.
direction project. My first directing
Directing
film
gig.
directing gig.
Yes.
So
Film directing. You have directed.
film
You
directed.
directed
I
for
have
stage.
directed for
Yeah.
stage. This is my first film directing, and we went big.
You did go big, and it's
So-
a beautiful
Big.
film.
So
go home, and
follow
they went
us.
home.
Exactly.
They didn't go home.
I'm just kidding.
We did it,
go
and then we went home, and then we worked on it
And then
some
you came to
more,
my house
and, came back
and watched some footage.
So
I went home because that's where I edit.
That's what I have going
And I'm
on right
editing
now.
it.
So I understand about how long it takes films to now come out to be
Yeah.
birthed, so to
Yes.
speak, and we're almost there. The baby is crowning.
The baby is
Oh my
crowning.
God.
It's that
So-
that ring of fire. Anyway, I don't
So-
know.
But that's
I
what
could
that's
go
what I
on.
have. That's what I have going on now, right now.
And it's a beautiful film, and everybody should follow. And if you want to hear more about it, I think we're going to chit chat about a little bit about the Duchess in the next episode. So come back and hear a little bit more about the Duchess. And of course, we had Ava Davis, who was our guest on the Georgia Made podcast, who was our special guest, and we interviewed her all about the Duchess of Grant Park. If you want to hear about it.
Yes.
All right. Anything else to plug?
I think I'm plugged up. I need more tea.
Back to your
more tea.
Back to your constipation.
More Nubs tea. Yeah, back to my photos of being constipated all the time.
So, I've got some things to plug. So, please check out Critical Crop Top. That is the entity that produces this podcast. We also make videos. We make short films. We make series. Check us out. Of course, you can find us on Critical Crop Top on the social media at Critical Crop Top on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But we also have a YouTube channel, and we started putting out editing tutorials. I'm an editor, and I've started putting out editing tutorials. There's a couple up there by now. Tutorial Tuesdays. Every other Tuesday, I'm going to help you learn the basics of editing. So in Premiere Pro, that's specifically what we're learning about right now is Premiere Pro. So check out Tutorial Tuesdays. And of course, all of us in this room are involved in the Critical Crop Top Sketch Comedy web show, which is in pre-production right now. So stay tuned. We're pre-proing it up. So stay tuned. We've got some. I'm really excited about the sketches that we're going to be filming.
Super excited.
And I think that's all we got coming up for Critical Crop Top. This podcast, of course, if you want to continue the conversation with us on social media, we would love to hear what you think about the chilling.
I'm okay with it.
We'd love to hear what you think about Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So find us on the social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Feminine Mistake Pod, and you can find us on Twitter at FemMistakePod. And of course, we're on Spotify now. I don't know if I mentioned that. But we are on Spotify.
I won't tell Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, please. I do not want my 9-year-old daughter listening to this podcast ever. So you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Podbean, all the things. So please, maybe if you like the show, maybe give us a review.
Rate, review, subscribe,
review,
tell
subscribe.
a friend, post about it on Facebook.
Tell an enemy even.
Yeah, tell your parents.
But
Parents
just
love-
Just tell
love
Charlotte.
us.
Just don't tell my 9-year-old
Don't tell
daughter.
Nicole's daughter.
No.
Don't tell her.
No. And that's it, man. Guys, I'm really excited to dig into the rest of this show with
let's
you.
do
We've
it.
got so much to cover. I'm just gonna go grab a glass of absinthe. We're gonna take a little
okay.
break. I'm gonna grab a glass of absinthe, and
Interesting choice.
that's what Nicholas Scratch drinks.
Oh right, absinthe.
Nicholas Scratch drinks absinthe,
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna grab an egg, a time egg, for a snack.
we're
Sorry.
talking about scrambled eggs.
I'm gonna get some nubbins. Nubs.